Hey guys, what's up? This is Seelyon here. I'm going to be giving you just an overview of the Season 3 Masteries today for you. So this will help you decide which Masteries you're going to take. And then in my next video, I'm going to go over some basic Mastery pages that you can use when playing League of Legends. So starting in the offense tree, we've got Summoner's Wrath. Always want to be taking this if you're running Exhaust, Ignite, Ghost, or Garrison if you happen to be running Garrison. But those little bonuses are definitely worth it. And then we've got Fury here, providing an extra attack speed, 4%. It's not groundbreaking, but you need it to move into tier 2, so you'll find yourself you're putting points here if you're ever playing an AD champion. Sorcery as well for your APs, cooldown reduction, small amount, but you're going to be doing it to move down to that tier 2 Masteries. Butcher is obviously, I'm a big fan of this Mastery. With 2 points, you're getting an extra 4 damage to minions and monsters, so it's great for junglers. And if you have trouble last hitting, that extra 4 damage can make a lot of difference. So if you have trouble last hitting, put 2 points in Butcher, take it out of Sorcery or Fury because you're sacrificing 2% attack speed, 2% cooldown. You're not going to notice that. But the extra 4 damage to minions and monsters, if that gets you an extra, 10 CS, that's nearly an extra 200 gold right there. An extra 20, it's really worth it. Probably one of the best tier 1 Masteries for new players, in my opinion. You can't go past it. Then we're moving down to Deadliness. Obviously, if you're playing an AD champion, you want to be grabbing this. Also needed to unlock the armor penetration, so you're picking that up. Blast, same for APs. You want to be picking it up so that you can get the magic penetration. Destruction, it's an okay mastery. It's a bit situational, though. If you have a team based on pushing, or you're playing a split pusher, and you think you're going to be hitting the turrets a lot against their team setup, then it might be worth picking up. For 1 point, it's not too bad, but generally it's not worth it. Havoc, generally picked up if you're going 21 points in the offense tree, simply to unlock the later tiers. It's going to give you a percent increase to all damage, which is nice, and it might be the difference between kills or not, and that's what Masteries is all about. Weapon expertise, armor penetration. If you're playing a champion that deals physical damage, then this is a no-brainer. You want to pick that up. Same with arcane knowledge for APs. You want to pick that one up. So the main reason people might put 9 points in the offense tree for certain champions is simply because you want to pick up the magic or armor penetration. Very strong masteries. Lethality here, critical strike damage increase, definitely good on your AD champions again. Once you got that Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer, you'll start seeing this, an extra 5% with the 2 ranks in it, and then 10% for your melee. So if you're playing a melee that builds a crit item, definitely worth picking up as well. Brute Force, more attack damage. It's going to help you with that early game last hitting, give you a bit more poke. Definitely doesn't hurt. And if you're putting 21 points in the offense tree, it's definitely a go-to option. Mental Force, similar here for APs. Going to give you a bit more AP, bit more poke, bit more potential. Spell Sword, one of my favorite offensive masteries, simply because you're dealing extra damage based on your ability power, and it's magic damage, so it's going to scale with any magic penetration build, making it pretty strong. So late game, when all your cooldowns are blown and that guy's walking away with 50 health, you'll be able to kill him in 1 auto attack instead of 10. So nice little mastery there, and it's definitely going to increase your damage overall on ability power champions. Definitely worth picking that one up. Frenzy, good one, well, great one, I should say, late game for your AD carries. All you have to do is crit every 2 seconds to have basically a permanent 10% attack speed. And late game, most AD carries will be able to achieve this. So it's a nice little damage increase there. Definitely worth picking up if you've come this far. Sunder as well, more armor penetration. It's going to help you get past your enemy's armor. Definitely want to pick that one up. Archmage, always good, increases your ability power by a percentage. So that's always good, and it's only going to get stronger as the game goes on and on. Executioner, if you've come this far in your game 21, you definitely want to pick this up. Increases your damage by 5% to targets below 50% of health. It may just secure a kill or 2 extra. It's definitely nothing groundbreaking, but that's not what Masteries are about. They're just there to give you that extra little bit of damage output. So definitely worth picking it up if you've invested at 21 points down here to unlock this one. Moving on to the defense tree then. We got Summoner's Resolve. Another good one if you're taking any of the summoners listed there, especially Cleanse, Heal, and Smite. You definitely want to be picking this up for the little bonuses it provides. Perseverance, one of the weaker masteries. You generally don't want to be picking this up on any champion. It sounds okay. With 3 points, it's 6 health regeneration per 5 seconds, but it's based on your missing health. So to get the full 6, you basically have to be at 0 health. And if you're at 0 health, you want to recall. You don't want to sit there relying on this for your health regeneration. So it sounds good on paper, but because it's based on your missing health, you actually get a lot less. You probably only average maybe 2 health regen per 5 seconds, which isn't much. It does not add up quick enough for it to be worth it. You're better off spending your points in the increased health, um, just to be able to survive more, or you got armor, magic resist. You got plenty of other better options than this one. So durability, definitely want to pick up 4 points in this. Health's always good early on because it's gonna help you survive against both magic and physical damage. And of course, it's used to unlock veteran scars, which is a really good mastery in the defense tree. Tough skin, must have on your junglers, obviously reducing damage from monsters by 1. So this isn't minions in lane, just the monsters that spawn in the jungle. Hardiness and resistance here, 2 very strong masteries as well. They're going to give you 6 armor or 6 magic resist. And depending on what you're laning against, you definitely want to pick up one of these. Definitely want to pick it up. Very good for early game damage reduction. So it's all good. Bladed armor, a great one for your slower junglers because you're going to deal damage whenever they attack you. Definitely want to be picking that one up. Unyielding, great to reduce damage from enemy champions. Great on your top laners early. You can run it on your AD champions down bot, but it's a bit weaker. You're better off going the offense tree. But in top laners, it can reduce a lot of damage over the course of a laning phase that can be the difference between kills. Relentless, always good if you know the enemy team has a lot of slows, or if you're someone that gets kited a lot. So maybe Nasus, he's quite an Udyr, he's quite vulnerable to kiting. They're both pretty vulnerable, so this is definitely helping them out a bit. Veteran Scars, definitely great. If you want to if you've got 9 points left, you can reach Veteran Scars in the defense tree, and that's generally what most people will do. Safeguard, not a bad mastery if you're someone who tower dives a lot, or maybe you're an Alistar tower diving a lot down bot lane or something like that, or you're a jungler that's diving a lot. Can definitely help. Nothing game breaking, but it can definitely help. Block, very strong on your top lane, or to reduce incoming damage. It's only basic attacks though, so if you're up against a skill reliant champion who's relying on skills to damage you, not going to matter. But 3 damage from champion basic attacks early can definitely add up. If they're poking you, can definitely add up a little. Tenacious, always good if you're up against a crowd control heavy team. Of course, if you don't know you're up against a crowd control heavy team, if you're just playing blind pick or whatever, this is always good mastery because there's always going to be some sort of crowd control, so you generally can't go wrong when grabbing this one if you're in solo queue, just in the blind pick. Juggernaut, not that great. It gives you 4% maximum health with 3 ranks, which, oh yeah, 4%, cool, but that's if you have 4,000 health, that's an extra 160 health. So it's only really worth it if you are building a lot of health around 4k, because then 160 health can end up being a few hits once you've got armor and magic resist into the equation. But if you're not playing a champion that builds a lot of health, if you're not going to hit 4k health, I wouldn't bother with this mastery. Defender, pretty useless mastery. Grants an extra armor and magic resist for every nearby champion. Good in theory if you're 5-man roaming, if you've got some awesome strat where you're 5-man roaming the map all game, then the extra armor and magic resist on all your team, if they're all taking this, is going to be quite good. But otherwise, if you're playing a solo lane, obviously useless. If you're playing bot, you've only got 1 champion near you, so it's pretty useless. So I wouldn't bother with it. But if you're playing ARAM, go for it, because they're all going to be near you, so that's probably about all it's good for. Legendary armor, not too bad. Increases your armor and magic resist by 1%. It's not too bad because it's increasing both of them. Late game, it's going to give you that extra bit of kick, but definitely not groundbreaking again, but definitely worth your consideration. Good hands, time spent dead by 10%. Not that great. It only really kicks in late game, and not enough games get there. Not enough games get there for it to matter. And early game, it's only going to shave off a few seconds. But if you find you're not got nowhere else to spend your points, pop one in here. But it's definitely not a oh, I want to go in the defense tree for that. It sounds good, but it doesn't end up being that great. Reinforced armor, good on tanks for sure, because critical strikes can really add up a lot late game from the AD carriers and stuff. So you definitely want to be picking this one up. It's going to make you a lot more tankier during the late game stages. And then of course your honor guard, which is reducing damage from all sources by 3%, which is definitely good. And 3% from all sources can really add up over the course of a team fight. So definitely worth picking up if you've come this far in the defense tree. Moving on to the final Mastery tree, we have the utility tree. Summoner's Insight, always very good. Again, if you're taking the summoner spells it relates to, so Flash in particular, reduce cooldown there. Clarity, Teleport, all good if you're taking the summoners that it relates to. Wanderer, not too bad. It's increased movement speed when out of combat. It used to just be increased movement speed, the old Mastery for this one, and that was really good. Now that it's out of combat, it's not as strong. It's good if you're playing a heavy roam champion or a jungler, you get a bit more speed, but you're generally better off going meditation if you're putting some early points in here, especially on your AP mids. You definitely probably going to survive a lot better with the extra mana regen, but it's up to you. If you don't need the mana regen, if you're confident with your champion, definitely go the move speed. If you have mana problems, pick up the mana regeneration. It just depends on what you need out of your Masteries. Improve recall, not that great. I mean, cuts off a second, so you might save yourself 10 seconds over the length of a game or something. Nothing game breaking. Your 4 points are better off spent. Summoner's Insight, and then 3 here, 3 there to unlock tier 2. Scout, okay, not that great. I mean, it gives you a little bit of extra vision, but generally not worth the point. Mastermind, always good, reducing the cooldown of your summoner spells by 10%, which ends up being quite a lot. Definitely consider picking this one up. Expanded Mind for some extra mana. It's okay, not groundbreaking. Again, if you're having mana problems, maybe consider this over Mastermind, but generally it's not really needed. This one, which reduces the cooldown of activated items. If you're using a lot of activated items, this can really add up, so definitely something to consider there. Greed, always good for your support champions to get the extra income. Runic Affinity, always good for your junglers as well, or if you're playing AP mid that is very blue reliant and you want the extra duration out of it. Not worth grabbing though if you find you die too much. You're better off moving your points around maybe, because then it's a wasted point, but you know how you play, so that's up to you. Vampirism, very good because it's lifesteal and spell vamp. There are a few champions that this works quite well on because they have both magic and physical abilities, so that's quite strong on them. The good old Biscuiteer, you start the game with your Biscuit, which restores some health and mana, so that's always good, especially on support scan. Just give you a bit more sustain in lane. Definitely nothing groundbreaking, but it lets you start with a Biscuit, so it's pretty cool. Wealth increases your starting gold by 50 if you put 2 points in it here. It's not groundbreaking again. I mean, it's an extra pot, or it depends on your combination of items as well. It allows you to start with some particular combinations, but generally it's not worth tanking. Awareness, increased experience. Increased experience, people forget how strong increased experience is. If I hit level 6 before you, and I know I hit level 6 before you, I'm going to ult you straight away. I'm going to look to ult you straight away. So on certain champions, it's good, but the problem is it's so deep, and you've got to grab. If you're not using all of this, and you're just going for that, it's a bit wasted. You're better off going elsewhere. Strength of Spirit, good on some champions, obviously giving health regen for mana, but nothing groundbreaking again, and you got to spend so many points to get down here. It's hard to say it's worth it. Explorer, always good on Summoner's Rift. You get a ward that you can use to just review a map for 60 seconds. So that's good. It's good for scouting jungle invades or warding one of their buffs or warding an entry point or something like that. Really good. Pickpocket, also pretty good if you're a support. Not too good on the melee supports. The melee supports get more gold than what the range supports do when using this Mastery, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think on melees it's worth it because you take so much more harass, the extra gold isn't worth it. On a ranged one like Soraka or Sona, you definitely want to be picking this up for the extra gold, and every 5 seconds go in for an auto attack something. That's very good, but on melees, definitely not worth it. Melees, you're better off popping a few more points in the defense tree, get a bit more defense. Intelligence, cooldown reduction, 6%, not really that great. Yeah, if you come in this far for that, it's not worth it. Cooldown reduction is good, but it's not great. And nimble, increased movement speed, always great. If you happen to be putting 21 in the utility tree, definitely worth picking up, but it's not worth shoving points in just to get this. If you can't use Masteries along the way on the champion you're playing, don't worry too much. So that's rounds up the Season 3 Mastery overview. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My next video will go through some basic Mastery pages for each champion, and so I hope you guys will find that interesting. Thanks for watching.